Buying a used and untested gaming PC from eBay, you're basically asking to get scammed. This beautiful specimen we have here only cost me £50, and if we can manage to get it working, then it could provide some decent value. Judging by its current state, I think that's quite unlikely, so let's take a look at this rather filthy computer and see if we can revive and restore it into the ultimate budget gaming rig. So what do we know? Well, the PC does have a GTX 970 and that's about it. The CPU, RAM and motherboard are all a mystery. The case is a Corsair Carbide 330R titanium, which were quite reputable for the time, albeit quite dated nowadays. The power supply is a budget oriented 750 watt unit, which should hopefully be okay, and it does have a cooler master cooler. When buying untested hardware, I am quite wary that the seller acknowledges its faults, but uses the untested term to upsell and entice possible buyers like me. First look at the PC, and boy did it stink of cigarette smoke. This thing was caked in dust and I was almost certain it would let off the next bubonic plague. The condition for the most part looked acceptable, a few scratches, but let's be honest, that's not our biggest concern. Taking out the RAM stick shows we have 16GB of DDR3 and oh crap, does that say FX CPU support? At least we now know that it's an AMD based system, the few times in life where you'd rather have Intel, but anyway, the motherboard is an Asus M5A97R 2.0 with, you guessed it, an AM3 Plus socket, the predecessor to the much beloved AM4 socket. This leaves us with a limited upgrade path, but hey, I guess we can explore the world of FX CPUs, if we can get this thing to work. The included heatsink fan was wrapped in bubble wrap for some reason, so I went ahead and attached it back on. The GPU was also disconnected, so I plugged it back in. Hooking it up to power yielded no results, so of course I was fearing the worst, but thankfully it looked like the front panel connectors were ripped out, so with a screwdriver I attempted to turn it on. Come on, you can do it, yes! Let's go! And success. Okay, so the power supply is of course working. The exhaust fans, everything is up and operational. That's so sick. And there you have it. The AMD FX 8350 CPU, which is one of the best CPUs AMD made for AM3 Plus. And of course it has 16GB of DDR3. And the temperatures also look pretty good. I mean, despite it being quite dusty, it does look like everything is working as intended. And of course we are into the BIOS, which is a good sign. So I mean, there's nothing much more to say except take a look at this bad boy more in detail, and of course this needs a good clean, so we'll give it just that. Believe it or not, I do go outside from time to time. I'm not doom scrolling eBay 24/7, so of course we have to clean this PC because it is dusty as hell. Seeing how dusty and filthy this computer actually is, I actually had to go out and buy one of these. It's basically an IT duster and it should do wonders for this PC, so let's go ahead and see how well it does. It's safe to say that many cans of compressed air was saved from this absolute cesspit of a computer. The dust and cigarette tar created this awful amalgamation of sticky residue that refused to disappear. After strenuous time cleaning, I managed to get it looking in decent condition and also gave some attention to the GPU. The MSI GTX 970 was a pretty solid card back in 2014 and should still be able to play many 1080p titles with current driver support to this day. I quite dig the red aesthetic with those girthy heat pipes. A closer look at the CPU shows the FX 8350 in all its glory. The Bulldozer generation weren't highly acclaimed but should still provide ample performance for the GTX 970. I do recall these FX CPUs being mocked relentlessly for their dismal performance compared to their Intel counterparts. Now look how the tables have turned. Upon taking a look at it, it started to rain, so I went back in and proceeded with the heatsink installation. And of course, let's give this a fresh SSD. Now all that's left to do is install Windows 10. Let's take a closer look at this budget beast and see how it performs. So here we have the £50 gaming PC up and ready, and I have to say this video has gone a lot better than I expected. Like, I was expecting something to blow up, maybe a motherboard issue or faulty RAM, but no, everything is fully functional out of the box, which is kind of crazy. I'm guessing the seller didn't know how to work with PCs because all you really had to do is plug in the graphics card and also the front panel connectors and you're up and away. I will say, even though we clean this to the best of our abilities, the PC still has this weird kind of musty smell, which honestly is kind of unbearable. I'm not sure how to get rid of it because I did basically deep clean this whole PC. It smells like cigarette smoke and it's not pleasant whatsoever. Of course, here we have Cinebench R23 running on the £50 gaming PC. Let's take a look and see how well this 13-year-old CPU can perform in the benchmark. Well, the results are in and we got a pretty dismal score of only 3,660, which is below an i7 11th gen mobile CPU. Now, that is not a good result whatsoever, but it kind of does make sense. The CPU is from like 2011, 2012. It is kind of disappointing though, we can't really upgrade it past this point. I think the best CPU that you can actually put in this motherboard is an FX 9590, which isn't all too much better than what we have right now. I guess we just kind of have to leave it as is. And that is the limitations to AM3 Plus. You can't really upgrade it past the FX CPUs, and it makes a lot more sense why people still run AM4 to this day, because obviously you can run 4th gen, 5th gen Ryzen CPUs, and they are a lot better than what this is. One thing to add is that during this benchmark, this PC was loud as hell. Like, I could not even hear myself think. It was that loud. And I think it's purely due to the PSU. I'm not sure how long this PSU will last for, but hopefully it lasts for the whole duration of the video, because if it doesn't, then I'm gonna have to replace it and that's just gonna be a whole other process. So hopefully that does not happen. Let's jump to Value Benchmark and see how well the GTX 970 performs. Also, if you're wondering why the wallpaper is MSI, is because the GPU is also MSI. You know, you gotta match up with the red theme. I think it looks all right. And here we have Value Benchmark running on high settings at system resolution. Let's take a look and see how well it can perform. At the minute, we're currently getting around 98 FPS, 103, 104 FPS. That is pretty sick. The GPU is at 54 degrees and the CPU is at 29 degrees. The CPU is actually relatively cool, which is kind of crazy. The GPU is at 65% utilization and the CPU is only at 20% utilization. So there is clearly a bottleneck going on, which is to be expected. The GPU is using 149 watts of power. I mean, it makes sense because this is a GTX 970, and it's kind of crazy how this is still supported by AMD game ready drivers to this day. I think they're going to end the support in a few months time, but it is still mad how they still support this thing. It's kind of crazy. Okay, a little lag spike there. Currently getting around 112 FPS, which is pretty solid. The FPS average at the minute is 100, which is pretty sweet. At least we're above 100 FPS average. In these more open areas, we're getting about 122, 105, 86, 79. So a few fluctuations here and there, but nothing too major. But all in all, I think this is performing as expected. So let's skip forward to when we actually get the result. And there we have it. We got an average FPS of 86.6, so we just came a bit under 100 FPS, which is okay. To be fair, the score is 3,622 with a minimum FPS of 18.3 and a maximum FPS of 145.3. Honestly, pretty solid performance despite the CPU. The CPU was kind of bottlenecking it, so I was expecting a bit higher, but honestly, that CPU isn't the best. So with all of that said, let's just move past all of the benchmarks and take a look at a few games. You just know we had to start with Fortnite. I made the conscious decision to voice over this segment of the video, not only because of the cacophony of different sounds this PC possesses, but also... yeah, if you know anything about the UK, November 5th is a content creator's worst nightmare. But I digress. We're testing out Fortnite with DX12 at medium settings and also performance mode to gauge out how well this computer can handle both. With DX12 enabled, we're going to get pretty solid frame rate around the mid 50s, not 60 FPS, but so long I'm able to shoot in a straight line, I'll take it. It's actually holding up quite well knowing all the obstacles it's facing. I mean, look at that CPU usage. Bottleneck aside, we did quite well before I came to my subsequent demise. With performance mode and everything set to low, we saw a much more palatable frame rate hovering around 80 to 140 FPS. Now this is how I would play it. Gameplay felt quite smooth with stable frame rates and temperatures at around 50 to 60 degrees. You can definitely play a game of Fortnite with this setup, which is how I came in 15th place. Left with a bruised ego and moved on to some Minecraft. 12 chunks in medium settings, we're doing remarkably well. I mean, there's no surprise there given the GTX 970 is still quite capable, but I suspect if we gave this a Ryzen 5 3600 for instance, it could be quite a solid gaming machine. Averaging around the high 200s, we rarely saw any lag spikes and both CPU and GPU were quite balanced, which is great. Temperatures were astonishing. The CPU rarely went above 40 degrees, which is unheard of in a gaming PC. Yes, I know it's Minecraft, but still, that's quite solid. Moving on to something a bit more intensive, here we have Astrolux shaders, which should make that GPU struggle, and yeah, no surprise here, this just isn't playable. I guess you could lower the settings a tad, but let's be honest, you'd rather move on to a less mind-numbing shader like Silder's Light, which looks awesome and performs pretty well. I mean, look at that sunset. Temperatures once again weren't concerning, and the overall usage of both components were mixed, with the GPU taking the brunt of it all, to be expected. Minecraft is doing exceptionally well, so let's take a look at an all-time classic. GTA 5 Enhanced pleasantly surprised me. With moderate settings at 1080p, the game felt pretty fluid with just walking around the neighborhood and doing what GTA 5 was meant for. The benchmark saw some respectable results, averaging around the low 100s with a few dips once some real action was going on. I think the low temps are largely responsible due to the side panel removal, but honestly it's either we get lower temps or face the absolute earache you'll get from this PC. I'll take the latter. Nothing much more to say about GTA 5, RAM usage was quite good, and quite surprisingly, you can definitely play GTA 5 on this PC. I think the next version won't be so forgiving. Sticking with the Rockstar theme, I went ahead and tried Red Dead Redemption 2, setting it to 900p as 4GB of VRAM just isn't cutting it. Somehow the game decided that ultra settings were suitable, so I said why the hell not. I guess it would have made sense to tone down the settings somewhat, as during the benchmark we struggled to achieve a stable frame rate with a hovering around the high 20s and low 30s. Now I wouldn't play with these settings in any circumstance, but I am still pleasantly surprised. Sometimes I forget how much power the GTX 970 uses. The 750W PSU is a bit overkill, but should ensure that it doesn't erupt in flames. I doubt my house insurance has fire protection. RDR2 didn't do too bad with an average above 30 FPS. Let's test out another game notorious for its inability to play on older hardware. Cyberpunk 2077. I made sure not to abbreviate that. On low to medium settings at 1080p, the benchmark actually did alright. I don't know if I'm just underestimating the GTX 970, but it shows that you can still play a few titles, even some demanding ones. Even with the low settings, the game looked pretty good, and yeah, we aren't getting 60 FPS, but still, I think for the age of the hardware, this is solid performance. Temperatures once again looked great, and overall usage looked pretty balanced once again, which did surprise me given the awful performance of the CPU. We ended up with an average in the high 40s, which yeah, isn't the best, but you gotta remember this entire PC cost me the price of a used Chromebook. I'll take that any day. The last game to test, The Last of Us, is a game I didn't expect much from. This game is notorious for using copious amounts of resources like memory, so of course I had to lower the settings, but actually getting into the game it wasn't all too bad. Not sure if they optimized the game to run on older hardware, but I'd argue it's performing quite well. We are still around the 30 to 40 FPS mark, which wasn't that good, but there were barely any lag spikes, which makes games unbearable to play. Thankfully The Last of Us wasn't migraine inducing, but quite acceptable. Honestly, and this is in my opinion, if a game can't average 30 FPS then it's by no means playable. I'll take this one as a mere success. Well, it's a day later and I can actually talk about this PC without being bombarded by fireworks, so here we go. Now the main theme of this PC is of course it being an untested £50 gaming PC, and for the price we paid it is actually a really good deal. Like, you get the CPU, the GPU, the RAM, the motherboard, the power supply, and of course the case for only £50. Like, what can you actually get for £50 these days? It is kind of mad. Of course I can sell the GPU and essentially make all my money back, which is kind of crazy. The GTX 970 is still a capable card in 2025 and possibly for the next 2 to 3 years, so long it has reliable driver support, which I don't think will last all too long, but for the time being I think it is pretty solid. The CPU is the only limiting factor of this PC. If it was like 2 or 3 generations newer then it would be a lot better, but I guess we have to deal with it for now. For the price I paid I can't really complain. All in all I think this is an excellent deal, so do let me know down in the comments what you think about this £50 PC. I guess we can say this untested PC is fully tested. So with all of that said, if you did enjoy, remember to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and also hype the video, because why the hell not? Continue the support and I'll continue to deliver. So thanks so much for watching. See you in the next one.